Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roshan Shah, and I'm currently a senior at Sonora High School. I've had the privilege of working with my mentor Molly throughout this project. The research question I chose to focus in on is how does competitive balance differ between the National Basketball Association and the National Football League, and what can the NBA do to compete? I was drawn to this topic because, as a passionate sports fan, I've always been fascinated by the factors behind the scenes that shape the game we watch. For me, the most exciting part of being a fan is seeing a close, competitive matchup where each team has a chance of winning. That's what keeps sports fan engaged. On a more personal note, basketball has played a big role in my life. I've been a dedicated basketball player throughout high school, and I'm currently on my school's varsity team. That experience gave me an even stronger interest in exploring how league structures, competition, and how balance can impact both players and fans. I'm presenting today from Whittier, California in Los Angeles County, an area with a rich sports culture that has also influenced my perspective on this project. Let's start with the NFL. What makes it so balanced? First, let's talk about what competitive balance means. Competitive balance refers to a parity among league, meaning level the playing field for each team to have an equal chance of winning. It relies on fairness among different teams and how teams can realistically compete for championships. NFL is often praised for this strong parity, while the NBA is more criticized because of its predictable outcomes. Let's start with the NFL. What makes it so good? First, the NFL has a hard salary cap. That means teams can't simply outspend one another. There's a strict ceiling on what teams can pay players, and that forces parity. Second, there's revenue sharing. This means small market teams like the Green Bay Packers still get the resources to compete with giant markets like the Dallas Cowboys. And third, the format itself favors unpredictability. With only a 17 game season and a single elimination playoff, the difference between good teams and great teams can come down to just one game. That means surprises happen. A wild card team can realistically go all the way to the Super Bowl. Now compare that to the NBA. The NBA is superstar driven. One or two elite players can completely shift the trajectory of a team. That's why we see superstars form in places like Miami, Golden State, or Los Angeles, because these are bigger market places. The NBA has a soft salary cap, which means they can spend as much money as they want, but the penalty is they have to spend a luxury tax. But this benefits wealthy teams because big market owners just pay the tax and keep stacking the talent. And then you add the 7 game playoff series. While this creates incredible drama, it also makes it much harder for the underdogs to win. Oft Over 7 games, the better team almost always prevails. So the result is less random, and usually the same handful of elite franchises competing year after year are the same teams that are going to continue to win because they have the superstars. Why does it matter? For fans, it comes down to hope. Every NFL fan base goes into the season thinking, we've got a shot this year. Think about teams like the Bengals, the Jaguars, or even the Eagles a few years back. Franchises that turned things around quickly and made playoff runs. In the NBA, many fans feel like the season is over before it starts. If you don't have one of the top 10 players in the league, you're probably not going to win a title. And if superstars only want to join bigger markets, smaller market fans lose hope altogether. That hope is crucial for engagement. Hope sells tickets, hope drives TV ratings, and hope keeps fans invested in their teams for the long term. NBA options to compete. So, what can the NBA do to close the gap? Let's look at a few possible solutions. First, cap reform. If the NBA moved closer to a true hard cap like the NFL, it would prevent super teams from forming so easily. Teams wouldn't be able to outspend everyone else. That would help smaller market teams retain their stars and stay competitive. Second, draft adjustments. The NBA draft lottery already discourages losing, but still teams tank for better odds. Finding those odds even further could reduce the incentive to lose on purpose. The league could also add rewards for teams that stay competitive, like additional picks or cap relief. Third, scheduling scheduling and playoff changes. The NBA regular season is 82 games, and honestly, it is way too long. Shortening the season would increase the intensity of each game, and on the playoff side, expanding single elimination playing games could inject more unpredictability, giving lower seeds a fighting chance and adding more drama. For example, if they follow the March Madness rules, more lower seed teams will be able to win, which keeps fans engaged instead of knowing that the teams with the most superstars are going to win. Fourth, revenue sharing and market balance. The NBA has to make sure smaller teams like the Detroit Pistons or Memphis Grizzlies can keep their stars and build winning rosters. That means stronger revenue sharing, stricter cap rules, and perhaps incentives to keep players spread across the league instead of clustering them in just a few markets. In conclusion, the NFL thrives on unpredictability. Fans tune in every week because anything can happen. The NBA thrives on star powers. Fans tune in to see stars like LeBron James, Steph Curry, or Giannis Antetokounmpo, but often they already know who the finalists will be before the season starts. The challenge for the NBA is finding a middle ground, keeping the excitement of its superstars while making the competition feel more open and free. If the league can reform its financial system, rethink the draft, and embrace a little more unpredictability in the schedule and playoffs, it can give fans the hope they crave and truly compete with the NFL in terms of balance. Thank you.